Hello everyone, it's Jono from Fight Like Fiore here. What I wanted to take a look at today is stepping offline, and this comes up quite a lot throughout Armizare. You'll see it in a number of different places. Today we'll be using exchanging the thrust as an example, but there's plenty of them throughout the book. If you go hunting, it comes up again and again and again. When you're stepping offline, Fiore will write something usually along the lines of, you step offline, you make a beat, and then you step through to make a counterstrike. And this is all totally well and good and everything's fantastic. But one of the questions that comes up every now and then is which way do you step? You know, do I step left or right when I'm stepping off the line? And the answer that you give has quite different ramifications there. So that's really what I wanted to explore today. I'll just get back on the pavers and have a quick look. So assuming that you're chambering on the right, and like I say, we'll just be using exchanging the thrust, and we'll go from Pasta to Donna here. So to be in a situation something like this, the attack comes through, you step offline, so you'll step to the left here, hips are now wide open, step through to posta frontale, you've got all the torque of those hips, you've completely smashed that offline, you've got loads and loads of strength there, and from there you just drop your sword down into posta breve and step through, and you've hit, and you've won. Alright, great. And when you look at the pictures and the context of the book, that's really what he's talking about, all right? Where you're opening your hips up, you're stepping offline that way, opening your hips off, there's your frontale, and step through. So you really dominated that center line. An interesting one to play around with is stepping off in the other direction, and this totally changes what's going on. If you step to the right, assuming you're in a right-handed stance, you step to the right there, you can see that your hips are totally closed now, but also I've stepped off the line. So as I make a frontale there, what I'm really doing is that is now marking what was the center line and essentially the target that my opponent was aiming for. So my defense really is stepping out of the way, and this is just an insurance policy to make sure that whatever they're throwing at me doesn't chase me along. Then when I step through, I'm now much closer to my opponent, would be standing about there, so I'm really close to them. Angle around this way and put that in. So I'm now on about so I've stepped around about 60 degrees to get to there, so just to see that at speed, or at a bit of speed. Alright, so I'm doing that kind of thing. And you can see that's a really different dynamic. It's essentially your defense is getting out of the way and just not being where the attack lands, and the beat, it's not really a beat at all, it's a deflection. Your beat becomes a deflection, and what you gain in that is you're able to bring your attack in on a completely different angle. So you've essentially just disappeared. You've been standing in front of someone, then you've disappeared, you've reappeared to the side, and then you've hit them from the side. The more you arc around somebody, the closer you'll get to them. That'll change your distancing, that brings you closer in. So the more you arc around, the more you have to sort of fiddle around with your footwork on the receipt once you land, because otherwise you'll be standing on top of them, you'll crowd yourself too much. So there's a little bit of extra footwork when you go off to the side. It's a little bit slower, but comes with advantages as well, because it like I say, it it's just a different way of doing things. It changes your angles, it changes the dynamics of everything that's going on. You're not fighting for that centre line, you've just completely abandoned it and changed the direction of the entire fight. So it's a fun one to play with. So we'll just take a another quick look at that. So stepping to the left and controlling the centre line, you go 1, 2, alright, and stepping to the right and changing the angle, be something like that. And you can really depending on how far you jump, you can get even more than 90 degrees if you're really going for it. And you're getting really, really close to them, and shorten up that final counter strike. You can get all the way around to 120 degrees and really stick them in the kidneys. It's quite fun. A little bit challenging, it's a little bit slower, it's a little bit more effort to do. You certainly wouldn't use it all the time, but it's just an interesting concept to play around with. So whether you step left or right there, but they really, although they're kind of, they're structurally still the same, you're still using that same principle, it really introduces very different tactical responses there. So anyway, that's a good one to play around with, and just play with that concept and see what difference it makes, because yeah, it's always interesting, and the more you change your angles, the more difficult you are to hit. All right, good luck, train hard, and I'll see you next time.